Time to go through the starting grid for the 15th and final heat here at Circuit du Val d'Argenton. It's DD2 and DD2 Masters, heat number 3. Carl Gustav Borgard, a race winner earlier on today, picks up the opening heat victory. He starts once again from pole position. David Outlechner will line up alongside on the front row, with Mads Ries and Martin van Leeuwen rounding out the top 2 rows. Van Leeuwen picked up heat number 2 earlier on this afternoon. He'll be ahead of Axel Saniala, Maxime Dirks, Rasmus van der Bo, Leonardo Baccaglini, Ville Villainen, and Nicolas Guillaume, who ran at the top 10. The top 20, the remainder of the top 20 are as follows: Maxim Sechurko, Victor Frostbait, Enzo Boll, Jakob Bezel, Patrick Snols-Lochmelis, Mats Johan Overhoff, Philip Moitzi, Dennis Thum, Nicolas Picot, and Lucas Bernot. Manuel Tencher, Jules Cousin, Kilian Gerhard, Sebastian Schul, Peter Bezel, Martina Stankiewicz, Christoph Capitan, Tim Stipitz, Jimmy Chaumier, Igor Mukin, Tony Hogg, and Michael Becker round out the 32-strong grid. Dennis Thum will start on 18th and will start as the DD2 Masters pole sitter. Drivers now get into formation as they head towards turn number 12. Red lights on the gantry. Lights are on, lights are out. We're underway. First time for the final heat in Western France. And it's a good start by the pole sitter, Carl Gustav Borgard, who leads the field going into Clubhouse for the opening time. 2, 3 abreast at some points, but everyone have they made it all through turn 2 at Clubhouse? Yes, they have. Through turn 3, on the run up to turn 4, the right-hander that brings them onto the back straight away. Borgard is leading. Second is Outlechner. Third, well, no, it's not. I'm just keeping an eye on who is in third position. That looks like that is Outlechner. Dirks is into third. Fourth is Outlechner. Fifth is Van Leeuwen from the Netherlands. Up towards Dunlop once again they go. At the moment, Carl Gustav Borgard has a lead, and it's 2.5 tenths of a second ahead of David Outlechner. Maxime Dirks, Mads Ries, Martin van Leeuwen, Leonardo Baccaglini, Axel Saniala, as there's a change for second. Up the inside of Mads Ries goes Maxime Dirks. The 405 from Shepherd's Racing on the Kart Republic chassis gets past the Dane. Outlechner is not letting them get away. Through into 5 and 6, now into the left at 7. They will close up under braking, and Outlechner was looking for a way through on Mads Ries, but that allowed Martin van Leeuwen to close in. As a bit of a close there, that was from, more than likely, that was Maxim Sechurko on Rasmus van der Bo going through into the approach into turn 8. Axel Saniala, in the meantime, has dropped behind Maxim Sechurko and Rasmus van der Bo, the Finn, in the 469. Now down to 9th, ahead of Ville Villainen, his countryman from Finland. Nicolas Picot, in the meantime, has sprinted up the order and is now currently P10, and he's P11, and he's closing in on Ville Villainen. Saniala looks for a dive up the inside, through into turn 7. Wants to get through on Rasmus van der Bo, but that's not going to happen. As all, there is a drama, and that is for the 435. That is Maxime Sechurko, who pulled to the right-hand side has got going again. As the 468 of Mads Ries is now interlocked with Martin van Leeuwen for battle, but the Dutchman gets in front, and right behind them is the charging Italian, Leonardo Baccaglini, who made his Euro Trophy debut last year at Marienborg and now gets through on Mads Ries. Slingshots past like the Dane was standing still between turns 4 and 5. But now there's going to be a change for the lead, and it's Maxime de Rix. Maxime de Rix takes the lead, but straight away on the counter-offensive, Carl Gustaf Borgaard retakes the lead through the final corner. This is DD2 racing at the front of the field at its finest. David Outlechner is now with them as they go through into Clubhouse. 6 minutes and 20 seconds remain on the timer. De Rix had the number of Carl Gustaf Borgaard going into that penultimate corner, but Borgaard swung the cart wide, turned it in, and lit up the rear tyres with the throttle application. And now De Rix back up the inside through turn 7. This is going to allow Outlechner to get through, and he does. Van Leeuwen and also Baccaglini now factor into this scrap for the race lead. And look at the train behind. They're all closing in. It's not just going to be one driver going for it, it's going to be multiple. But Outlechner and De Rix have pulled away ever so slightly to the tune of nearly half a second. And now Van Leeuwen up the inside through turn 3 on Carl Gustaf Borgaard. The Dane holds his ground once again. Baccaglini right on the back bumper of the 403 from the Netherlands. And behind them, the cavalry is coming. That is being led by one particular driver. It is now going to be Mads Ries, who's up the inside of Rasmus Vendelbo. Axel Sarniala is right behind them. Ville Villainen, Victor Frostbay. I could reel off the names on that list that are right behind Carl Gustaf Borgaard, who's become the proverbial bottle in the cork in the bottle. You see, I'm even tripping over my own words. This is great racing. Close quarter, wheel to wheel, side pod to side pod. And De Rix and Outlechner have pulled a gap. They want a battle between themselves. But what's got to happen now for Martin van Leeuwen is that he's got to really try and get past Carl Gustaf Borgaard. And a warning board has been shown to the 437 from Denmark. We've had 2 different winners in DD2. We've had 2 different winners in DD2 Masters. More overtakes happening through Dunlop. And Enzo Boll has got himself up at least another couple of at least one position. Well, he's ahead of Ville Villainen. Now in 9th place is the youngster from the Netherlands, the 410. Now he's looking up the inside. That is on the 468. He's got past Mads Ries. And De Rix is holding on to a slender advantage. Fastest lap of the race, the driver down in 19th position. Has not progressed as probably as high as he'd like to. Did get into the top 10 in the second heat. That was Lucas Paunot, who's just put in a 51.831 second lap time. Ahead of him, he's got Kilian Gerhard, who's about a second up the road. 3 minutes still remain. Gap between first and second is just over 3/10. Top 10 covered by 4 seconds. Top 27 drivers covered by 9.8. More moves happening going through into turn 3. And Carl Gustaf Borgaard is still defending like crazy at the moment and has got Martin van Leeuwen and Leonardo Baccaglini right with him. If he's pulling them along with him, they're going to try and catch up with the two in front. Because it's going to be, well, DD2 is starting to pull a gap on Outleichner, and Michael Becker's off the track going into the chicane. The 5:26 and dramas for Sebastian Schue. His front Nassau panel is off to the right. And his race is done. That's at turn 8. Just under 2 minutes to go. And Axel Sarniala has retaken the fastest lap of this race. He's currently in 7th position. He's about 8.5 tenths behind Rasmus Vendelbo from Denmark. As Baccaglini looks up the inside. That was on Carl Gustav Borgard. That was for 4th place. And now Rasmus Vendelbo fancies an opportunity going through the Piff Paff chicane. Now up into Dunlop. Borgard defends. Vendelbo's got the run going through into the final right-hander. Not too far behind Baccaglini, who only just a couple of moments ago took that place away from the 437 with Oris competition. So a non-start for Mats-Johan Overhoff. Maxim Shurko out of the race. Sebastian Schue is out of the race. We're down to 29 drivers, rounded out by Tony Hogg from the UAE. As Vendelbo looking up the inside, has a little bit of a touch with Carl Gustav Borgard. This could give the opportunity to Axel Sarniala. And Sarniala is right on the coattails of Rasmus Vendelbo. He springs up the inside and takes the position. But the Dane's going to counter-attack through the final corner. Sideways from Vendelbo, out of the final corner. My goodness me. And there is Enzo Boll waiting to pick up the pieces. Vendelbo was sideways at over 100 kph through the 12th and final corner. How he hung on to that one, I'll never know. But that was definitely one to watch. Timer has expired. Maxim DD2 has calmly been expanding his lead over Poland's David Outleichner. Once he got the lead, he hasn't looked back. Just over 1.5 kilometers of racing here today at Circuit du Val d'Argenton. Comes to its inevitable conclusion. Last lap board is out. Enzo Boll starts defending ahead of Rasmus Vendelbo going into clubhouse. They've got Ville Villainen right behind them. Outleichner has taken a fraction of time out of Maxim DD2. Martin van Leeuwen has just put in the fastest lap of the race, 51.519 seconds. It's been a long wait for a particular driver to take another victory here in the Euro Trophy. It's been worth that wait though, because he's made it count when it matters the most. Out of Dunlop for the final time. It's going to be 3 different winners from 3 different races as Maxim DD2 takes the victory in heat number 3, the 405 from Belgium. David Outleichner takes P2. Martin van Leeuwen takes 3rd. Leonardo Baccaglini 4th. Axel Sarniala finishes behind Carl Gustav Borgard in 6th place. Enzo Boll rounds out his day with a top 7 finish. Rasmus Vendelbo in 8th. Ville Villainen and Jakob Bezel round out the top 10. Victor Frostbay in 11th ahead of Mads Ries. Lucas Bernot at one point held the fastest lap. He went to finish in 13th after all of that being said and done. Patrick Knowles, Loch Mellis, Kilian Gerhard, Manuel Tenschert, and it's 2 different winners from 3 different races as Nicolas Picot wins the final heat for DD2 Masters down in 18th. Nicolas Guillaume and Martinas Stankiewicz ran at the top 20, followed by Peter Bezel, Tim Stipitz, Jimmy Chaumier, Igor Mukin, Christophe Capitain, Dennis Thum, Jules Cousin, Michael Becker, and Tony Hogg, rounding out the 29 finishers in that 13-lap encounter. Sebastian Schue out on lap number 8, and Maxim Shurko out after 3 laps with Mats Johan Overhoff a non-starter.